What's going on, guys? Tristan24 here, and welcome back to another video on the channel. In today's one, I have my championship predictions for match week 37. Let's get straight into it. So guys, on screen right now will be the prediction league for match week 1 after the first game week. Of course, it will be somewhere on screen right now. So make sure you check it out and comment your predictions, and you have a chance to get on there. And you know, it's a bit of fun really, just to have a bit of competition, and you know, you could be top of it come match week 46 in the championship. So how it's working is you get 3 points if you get the correct answer. Scoreline, so say I predict Swansea to beat who we playing this week, Bournemouth. If I predict them to beat them 2-0, and then we actually do beat them 2-0, then I would get 3 points. But say I predicted 2-0 and it finished 1-0, then I'd get 1 point. And then if it went the other way, a draw or Bournemouth win, then I'd get nothing. So that's how it's working, guys. I'm also doing my Premier League predictions as well, which the video will be up before or after this one, so make sure you check it out. So then, first game of match week 37. Cardiff go up against Stoke City. These are all midweek games, guys. So this is Cardiff's final game before the South Wales derby with Swansea. If you couldn't tell, I am a Swansea fan. So they're going to be Stoke. Cardiff, I think they had their first defeat of the season with Mick McCarthy against Watford. That late winner for Watford, of course. It wasn't the best of free kicks, but Dylan Phillips is just gone from it, and yeah, made a big error there. Stoke then, they come off the back of a defeat as well to Middlesbrough, 3-0. But for this one, I think I'm going to edge to a Cardiff win. I think 2-0. Next up, we have Derby going up against Brentford. Now, Brentford, of course, they're trying to chase down Swansea and Watford for second place. They have a game in hand on Watford, so does Swansea. But, you know, they don't want to take any chances with relying on that one. They want to make sure they can keep up the pace against a Derby side who I believe haven't scored in a few matches. I think it's 3 or 4 since they last played Nottingham Forest. I don't think they have scored. So in this one, I think I have to edge for a Brentford win, and I'm going to do it in style. Brentford 3, Derby 0. Next up, we have Luton going up against Coventry. Now, Luton on the weekend against Swansea, they were very good. I was quite impressed. They just cannot put the ball in the back of the net. As for Coventry, we played them, of course, at the end of February. They gave us a decent game, but didn't score. They were, you know, as good as us, to be honest. They looked like a promotion-chasing team. But for this one, I think I'm going to have to edge Luton. Home team as well. I'm going to go for a 2-1 Luton win. After that, we see Middlesbrough take on Preston. Middlesbrough just beating Stoke 3-0, and Preston just losing to Wycombe 1-0. So it's quite different circumstances for both teams. Middlesbrough trying to get the final playoff spot, or trying to get in the playoffs. Preston, of course, just trying to level things out. They are mid-table this season, and they just want to try and finish as high as possible, really, for them. But in this game, I am going to edge towards the home team and say 3-0 Middlesbrough. After that, we see Rotherham. Yes, Rotherham are playing this week, guys, against Watford. Now, Rotherham, of course, they've had a long break, and all the games in hand they've got, I think they've got 4 games in hand now at the bottom. But they're going to be so tired when they have to play them all. They're all going to be crammed in somehow for Rotherham, and you know, it's not their fault that they've had positive cases, but it does seem like something funny's going on there. But, you know, it's football, and it's the way the world is at the moment. They can't help it, even if there is something funny going on, you know. I don't know why they would make something happen. But anyway, Watford, they've just got a really good win. And I have to really go for Watford in this one. I think 2-0 to the Hornets. After that, we see probably the biggest game of Tuesday night, It is Bournemouth going up against Swansea. If Swansea play well, I really do think we can get a win. Maybe a convincing one for once. But for Bournemouth, they can score, and apparently from what I've seen and heard, they play really well first 45, second 45, they're terrible. So let's hope that happens for this game, and then they can maybe start improving. But realistically, if Swansea want to keep up the pace with the top two, although we've got a game in hand, we need to be trying to get a win here. A draw, it's okay away from home, but you really need to be getting a win. As for Bournemouth, they just can't get a win at the moment. I think they had the crunch game against Barnsley, and they need to keep up the pace with them if they do want to get in the playoffs come the end of the season. For a score prediction, I've got to back the Swans, and I'm going to go for a 1-0 win. Come on, the Swans. Going into Wednesday night's game, we've got the first one, which is Forest against Norwich. Now, I found out an interesting fact. Forest have had 28 wins in overall, and Norwich have had 28 wins overall, and they've had 28 draws as well between them. So, sorry if I haven't explained that quite right, but basically, when Forest have come up against Norwich, Forest have had 28 wins, Norwich have had 28 wins between them, and they've had 28 draws, so it's dead on the same, really. And for this game, though, I do think Norwich will get their 29th win against Forest in a 2-1 win at the City Ground. We'll see how that one goes. Now we see QPR going up against Millwall. Millwall getting the win in the weekend, and QPR getting a defeat to Huddersfield, which not many teams have said that they've lost to Huddersfield this season, apart from Swansea, of course. But for this one, I am going to edge towards the visitors to a 2-0 win at Loftus Road. After that, we see Wycombe against Barnsley. Now, at the start of the season, you would have thought this would have been a relegation 6-pointer. Let's be honest, no one thought Barnsley would get in the playoffs this season, but they shocked everyone. Wycombe, they have motivation and determination to try and get a result. It's just, is it too late? And I think it is at the moment, and in this game I can only see a Barnsley win. 2-0 to the away side in this one, so not big defeats, because I think Wycombe will be definitely up for it, but I think Barnsley will just about outclass them in the final thirds, and yeah, it's not looking really good for Wycombe, but there's still 9 games after this for them, or with this game there's 9 games left this season, so let's hope they can pull off a miracle. Next up we see Birmingham go up against Reading. Now Birmingham, they're in a bit of trouble, aren't they? The game's in hand for Rotherham, not looking too good for Birmingham. Let's hope they can stay up, because it's never nice seeing a team go down, but 3 teams do have to go down. As for Reading, recent weeks they've slipped up a little bit, I think it's fair to say, and Reading fans I think will agree with me, and it's not what they want to see at drawing to a team like Nottingham Forest at the moment. If they drew to them last season, it'd be classed as a good result, because they were so good, but this season Forest aren't doing that well, are they? And really, when teams go to Forest this season, you're expected to try and get the 3 points. Reading had to come from behind in that game. They only got a draw, so they didn't come from behind to get a win. Which was a brilliant point for the home team, Nottingham Forest. But in this game, I think I'm going to edge for Reading to get back on track with a 2-0 win. Now we see Blackburn taking on Bristol. Bristol, of course, under Lee Johnson, looking okay away from home. They've scored 3 away goals in, I think it's every away game they've had with the new manager. Blackburn, I watched their game on Friday when they played Brentford, and I've got to say they were creating a few good chances. It's just that Brentford defence is quite hard to break down, and this game I do fancy Brentford getting a goal, but I also think Bristol will get a goal, and it will be a 1-1 draw in that one. The final game of the midweek fixtures then is a big game at the bottom. Sheffield Wednesday going up against Huddersfield Town. Huddersfield, that was a massive 3 points against QPR on the weekend. Sheffield Wednesday nearly got something out of Norwich, which not many teams have been able to do this season. They, of course, took the lead, and then 2 late goals from Norwich got them the 3 points. It was a bit harsh on Sheffield Wednesday from what I've heard. I didn't watch the game. But in this game, I actually do think they'll get a draw against Huddersfield, who the performances are stepping up a little bit, I think. So I'll say 1-1 in this game. So they are all the predictions, guys. And if my predictions, every single one of them, if they were to come true, somewhere on screen now will be the table of what it would look like if all the predictions come true. But guys, make sure you get predictions in the comment section down below. And before I end it, the score predictions I got spot on last week for the weekend was Wycombe 1 against Preston, 1-0, sorry, and Millwall 1-0 against Derby. So they are the ones I got absolutely spot on. I could have had many more, but late goals denied me that. I think if one goal wasn't scored in the games, from every game, if I'm explaining this right, I could have had 6 correct if one goal wasn't scored. So I was 1 goal off my predictions in 4 other games, which, you know, it's close, but yeah, hopefully then I can get a few points on the table in the prediction league. If you are new to the channel, make sure you smash the subscribe button, like the video if you have enjoyed it. Stay tuned for Premier League predictions as well. There's not many midweek games, but I'll still be making a prediction video for that. Make sure you join the prediction league, Championship and Premier League, and I'll see you in the next video, guys. Take care. Goodbye.